Too bright? All right, welcome back to the Roadside Rescue YouTube channel. I'm Ernest, and you might be asking why it's nighttime. Let me tell you. All right, so we've been having a heat wave lately. That's not the only reason I'm working outside at night. This car just got dropped off late this evening. They were in a crash, and you see, obviously nobody's in the road. It's nighttime. Once they got in the crash, they said it was leaking oil. I told them not to drive it, and they drove it here anyways. But it doesn't look like the oil leak's very big. They were right about that, so let's figure this out. All right, here's the car. It's just a little bit of damage. Like, yeah, I was gonna say maybe we hit the door there. I don't think the door's even really gonna be bent, so it might be fine with the bumper and some quarter panels and a hood, other than the radiator support and hood support piece right here that's gonna be bent, and that's not really easily replaceable. Well, anyways, I just checked the oil and it was halfway full, so it's only half a quart low, so I think they were right. That's why I think they were right about it being a small leak. Okay, you can see the puddle there. I'm really confused where the leak's coming from. It looks like it's in the back of the motor. I thought maybe there's like a front motor mount on this year of Subaru, that maybe the impact was hard enough on that motor mount to bust a gasket, maybe a head gasket or something. Yeah, see that motor mount down there? That probably saved the front from getting bent too much, and I think it didn't even leak coolant. Yeah, but it still has a ton of pressure, so obviously it's got a lot of pressure on the radiator as well. At this leak for a few minutes, and I keep cleaning it up. You can see the oil on the drain plug there. Every time I wipe it up, it just keeps coming from the drain plug, so I'm pretty sure the leak's unrelated to the crash. How weird is that? I'm pretty sure they just had their oil changed and it's leaking from the drain plug. I've got to ask them. I was gonna say, it sounded like they were close. I saw the lights, yeah. You can see the lights on a building over there. Oh, I almost ran into a truck. Something's going on a block over. Okay, I got a scooter in the way here, my kid's scooter. I just got done pulling all the oil out of that Subaru. It had like a little bit less than 4 quarts. I think it takes like 4.5, which makes sense. So, there I go. That scooter scared me. It just rolled all the way away. It's making noise over there. So this will be a good time to check how much these oil vacuums leave in the drain pan, because I'm just at this point gonna order a new drain plug and crush washer. I'm not sure which one is missing, but they're cheap enough to just replace together. Let's go ahead and replace those in the morning, and when I pull that plug, it'll be nice to see how much oil comes out of there. Weird. I'm gonna get them some estimates on fixing that up so it's drivable. I don't do super good body work, but see if we can get this thing back on the road. I'm Ernest, and welcome back to the heat wave. Welcome back to the channel. This is the Roadside Rescue YouTube channel, and it's hot this summer. I've got that car just sitting out there. I just got back, actually. I'm just gonna put a new plug and crush washer in there. Probably just needs a new crush washer. That's probably what's leaking, but the plug looks like it's a little bit bent out of shape. Anyways, worse for wear, so I'm gonna go ahead and just replace both. Which this person did just end up doing an oil change right before their road trip, and coincidentally got in a crash. So let's go ahead and get this thing driving again. I'm not gonna do a lot of work on it right now. I need to just get this leak fixed so they can drive it, and they actually have to take it to a body shop first. If the body shop can restore it, then the insurance will let me replace that radiator and do anything in there that I need to do. But right now, it at least needs to drive over to that body shop. They could get it towed, but I'll just get that leak fixed real quick. Yeah, it was weird. I was just looking over and over last night, like, where is that coming from? And I could just see it all over past the motor there, just, but you could see on the front here there was no oil. And I think they drove probably like 30 miles with it like that. So well, they had driven for like 4 hours before that, so obviously they coated everything back, but after the crash they drove for like 30 miles, I'd say. So anyways, I got the oil out last night so it would stop dripping. Yeah, see how that radiator's just bent and everything? I think that's probably gonna have to be replaced. Hopefully not the AC one. We're trying to unbend stuff from a crash like this. When you do that, you usually just end up breaking things. Yeah. Okay, goodness, it is hot. It's already hot. It's pretty early in the morning. And I've got one other job to do this afternoon. I just got the oil. I also got something else. Hopefully that's gonna help with the heat, because I've been using my Milwaukee fan. And that only works like half the time because I move around so much, leaning around, moving, looking, that, you know, it's just in one spot. It helps a lot with the heat. I also use some cooling rags, or sometimes I wear those cooling shirts, and sometimes I just don't even wear a shirt under my coveralls. Just depends on how I'm feeling, but there's not much you can do to like get out of the heat. I'm just trying to survive it, you know what I mean? Anyways, I accidentally crunched the box for this. This is an OEM filter. I'm not sure if they're gonna need the filter though. I'm gonna look at what kind of filter they just put on there. I'm not sure if it's like some junky filter. I'll put the OEM one on. And then I got some high mileage, so let's fill that up. And here's what I got to battle the heat for the next little bit. I might use this for the rest of the summer. All right, so I linked up with TORRAS and they sent me this COOLiFY, and they actually sent me a discount code. If you want one, check out the link in the description, the pinned comment. I'm gonna start using this. I'm just gonna unbox it real quick. I'm not even really gonna talk about it in this video. I'm just gonna be using it probably from here on out, because I think it's gonna do a lot better job than this Milwaukee fan here. Like I said, these do a pretty good job, and I'll still have a use for them, like in the corner of the truck to blow cool air in when I'm out here rebuilding a carb or whatever. But when I'm just out working in this heat that's unbearable, I think this might do a pretty good job. Let's try it out. And I'm pretty sure this doesn't only cool, but it also warms, so I might use this in the winter too. I mean, if it does, I'm sure I will. I've always wanted electric fan warmers.
Well, this TORRAS COOLiFY isn't just a fan. It actually has two fans in it, but it also has over 360 cooling cells in it. So this thing can keep you cool for sure. Here's a look at it powered on. It actually comes with a charge. I'm gonna get it charged fully up. And they actually sent me one of these personal fans as well. It's like a waist belt fan. So I'm gonna use that underneath my coveralls as well. It comes with an app, so let's check out the app. It pairs up super nice to this COOLiFY, and I can turn it on or adjust it with the app easy. Yeah, here's a look at those modes again, from cooling to fan. And if you hold down the button, it'll even change to heater mode.
I'm just gonna wear this under my coveralls, and I'm sure it's gonna work great. Okay, I was gonna say another reason I love that oil vacuum is because I never have to worry about these issues. I don't know if they replaced the crush washer or not. I mean, I'm not sure if the crush washer is there or not, but I know they didn't replace it because it's leaking. Well, they could have done some other things to it. Either way, nobody ever replaces the crush washer. I don't like having to deal with that. I don't like having to deal with the issue of sometimes random little oil leaks like that just happen anyways. So when I use that oil vacuum, problem solved. I never touched the drain plug. I can't be blamed for it. Anyways, I have this old pack of crush washers, but you can buy them in a set like this if you like doing that, or if you're gonna do more than one oil change a week, or about 2 a month at least, get one of those vacuums. Also, I didn't even realize this was an AC, not just a fan. It has like cooling particles in it. I'm super excited. It's almost done charging, but it cools. Okay, I just had to run some errands. What was I doing? Oh, I was just returning parts. So I could have done this earlier, but I don't know, I was testing this thing out. I figured it'd be easier to test it without working in the sun first. And it works pretty good so far. I'm gonna check what size socket that is, and just take one with me under that car and drain pan in case a little bit drips out. We'll replace that, fill it up with oil, and they'll be good to drive that to wherever they have to go tonight. And then it's getting close to the midday, so I'm gonna have to go pretty soon and do that other Duramax.
All right, look how cool this thing is before I head out to work on that Duramax, so you know what I'm working with. Their surround sound cooling is a new record, 3D powerful airflow. It has patented dual exhaust vents, and there's actually 6 upper and 2 lower airways, forming a convection system. That creates a full 3D body cold air surround. And I've been using this thing for a couple of weeks. It works great.
All right, getting back to working this thing makes it a lot easier. Honestly, it's like a difference of standing in the shade versus in the sun. So if I can put up an umbrella or something and use this, keep myself double cool. This thing definitely works great. All right, let's find out what's missing. Maybe I just had the wrong size, or maybe the new one's a different size. That was not tight at all. That was the problem. I didn't even touch it. It was just hand tight. That's why it was leaking. Oh, nice. Pretty new oil. Does not look like the right plug. I'm gonna at that closely.
Now I've got to head on to do this other Duramax. All I've got to worry about is make sure I've got all the right tools and parts with me. I had to order a bunch of stuff and wait quite a while, so I try and leave stuff in a pile, but there's always this thought in the back of my head that I'm leaving something behind or I'm gonna forget something, and it's just a hassle if I have to go buy another part or run an hour away just to get that. So let's get over there, get this Duramax fixed. It's not even running, so we're gonna get this fuel system primed back up, get this thing back on the road for this guy. It's been sitting way longer than I wanted him to have it sitting for.
I hope I make it home. This transmission is sounding bad. I was thinking I could get like I hope I make it home. I was thinking I could get I've got a cough. I was hoping I could get a few months, maybe a year out of this transmission. I'm gonna go ahead and order a replacement so it's on standby. I'm not sure how much longer this thing's gonna last. It didn't sound this bad yesterday. It's been like 3-4 weeks since I put that trans fix in. Probably didn't do anything. I don't know how much it could do on manuals, but
turn left onto North 1400.
if you got clutches and bands and stuff, it could definitely help a little bit more with those, I think. I'm just gonna go ahead and get that in before I even start working on this job. Hopefully it can be in by the end of the day. $1,000, nice.
All right, so here's the setup. After ordering a transmission for about 45 minutes, I had to make a few phone calls and make sure the order went through, because for those big things, you gotta make sure those orders go through. And yeah, here's the setup. Again, I've got that fan, but I'm looking forward to this COOLiFY keeping me cool more than anything. And yeah, this truck's been parked up for more than a week. Let's get this thing back on the road. I brought my tools with me, but I don't know if this truck's gonna make it back. First thing I'm gonna do here is go ahead and replace this filter housing, this filter head, and the filter itself. This one's leaking air. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. No matter how many times you prime the pump, when you let it go, it just gets air back in the system and it loses pressure. Now the other thing I brought with me is one of these fuel rail adjusters right here. This is actually a fuel pressure adjuster, and I'm gonna replace that with a racing one that's just built out of higher quality materials, and this will get this truck running back all around. I'm not gonna need that fuel pressure bolt, but we're gonna go ahead and replace it while I'm over here working on it. And basically out of this job, I got exactly what I'd expect, minus how hard it was to replace these hoses. One of the problems with this job is the fact that these hoses break down and will clog up the filters and stuff too. So I figured while I was in there, I needed to replace these hoses. But honestly, it probably would have been easier and faster to remove the intake by the time I was done. It just took forever fighting with that hose. Again, you know, there's no other way around it. I got 2 new hoses I was going to replace and got those clamps on there. But I had to fight with it for about an hour all around. And that COOLiFY definitely helped me keep my cool. And here's a look at that new filter assembly before it goes back in. As you can see, I've got that brass bleeder screw instead of the plastic one. I recommend upgrading it to the brass one. And again, here's those hoses I talked about. I know they weren't included in the time lapse yet, but I had to fight with them for quite a while. I'm gonna go ahead and get those ready.
It's getting hot. I just went to the gas station and my transmission wouldn't go into gear. And the only gear that was really working okay was 4th. When it was in 4th, something was busting around in there. Bang, bang, bang. So even the 4th wasn't okay anymore. So I went ahead and texted my wife to come and just pick me up and all my tools, see if I could fit them in her CRV. And then I'm fixing my buddy's 6.6. I'm working on a 6.6 30 max right now. My buddy's 6.6 is in my driveway. So I'm gonna help him replace his transfer case tonight. And then we'll get a trailer and come down here and pick this up. But yeah, so much for already ordering the transmission. It didn't even make it a mile down the road.
All right, so basically with this fuel rail, fuel valve, all I'm gonna be doing is replacing this little, it looks like a bolt basically, but on the original ones, they control some of the fuel pressure, so you can get codes for low fuel pressure under high engine load and stuff on these 6.6s and 6.7s. So again, this one's stainless steel, it's upgraded, it's got a nicer O-ring. I'm gonna go ahead and swap it out while I'm here. It's not that hard to get to, it's underneath the controller, and again, that's probably less than an hour, but this COOLiFY lasts, you know, 3-4 hours on the nice little medium setting, and it keeps me nice and cool a few extra degrees at least. So you'll be seeing this thing in and out of videos in the future. I've been using it all the time for the past couple of weeks. So that's it for this one. I'm going to be wrapping it up, and let's check back in with how it's going.
Job well done. Now it's for my transmission. And the other D-Max.